Can you let me know your thoughts on the helpful content update? Lots of people ask about updates these days, and it's completely understandable. They keep rolling out these
And
updates,
they
and
suck.
lots of people are getting hit.
Yeah.
And it might not be the biggest hits for some of the sites, but I feel like a lot of people are getting hit by it. So just first of all, know that you're not alone, and second of all, know that no one really knows yet. Everyone's still trying to kind of figure this stuff out. It's getting harder and harder to really dissect algorithm updates because they put so much into them, probably on purpose. Me and Nick were talking about this the other day. They have to. It would be very smart of them to do this on purpose because it confuses people like
Yeah,
us,
makes
right?
you want to get out of the game too if you're not making any money, like, or you've given
Yeah,
all your time to SEO and then all of a sudden the five assets that you've built thinking you did a awesome job just tank. Well, it's keeping you on your toes to a certain extent as well. And it's kind of funny because I'm never over there, but I was on SE ranking the other day looking up what blog comments were saying about this algo update. And yeah, it's interesting because over there, I feel like you get a perspective that's less, it's just more white hat people. And so, we're talking
where was this at?
on
Sorry.
SE ranking on a post about this algo update. But especially in reading the blog comments, you can get a feel for, what like I consider to be the average SEO that gets online and,
Mm.
does SEO. Talking about having years in the SERPs, everything's going well, to especially the September update completely tanking sites that have historically done incredibly well. And then even these more white hat people were, complaining about things like Parasite SEO doing well, or a lot less relevant, gaining traction in the SERPs as well. So, a good shakeup, if it lasts a couple months, it could really put a lot of people out, and then it gives Google kind of a refresh startup point, to keep moving from. So always keep that in your thoughts.
So I pulled up Google's notes on the helpful content update right over here, and we'll just kind of go through it real quick and say what we think about some of the stuff to let you know kind of what we think are most important things and just what we think about it. Um, so here, do you have an existing or intended audience for your business or site that would find the content useful if they came directly to you? So basically, you know, I don't know what I think about this. Is kind of confusing. So it's like, would they still read your stuff if you weren't just gaming the search engine and they're finding like your answers up there at the top, right?
Hmm.
So I think basically it's just like well-written content showing people that are like satisfied with your articles, I guess, right? And
Sure.
maybe you put out a good amount of information about the same topic. Um, Does your content clearly demonstrate firsthand experience and depth of knowledge? I think this is like one of the most important ones, especially for affiliate marketers, because they kind of talked about the same thing in one of the other updates, I believe. I can't remember what it was called or what month it was in. It's all just blurring in my head. But
A
really,
lot of
it's
them.
just crazy. Like it just keeps coming, like one after the other.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, but yeah, demonstrating firsthand knowledge. I feel like it's such an important thing, but also an easy thing to do. And Nick is actually Nick had a site hit, and I think you're doing a bunch of stuff with this now, aren't you? You're going around and
Yeah, related to that, I'm adding some content from first person perspective. And then another thing was, I really liked having orphan pages that I was strategically using to push link juice from 301s, which I'm kind of adjusting that. And then I had a bunch of automated content, not AI generated writing like text, but content pulled using APIs, to do product showcases. And I think that's where I actually lost majority of my traffic. But also keep in mind that I was not even adding any content. It was like 200 words of text, then API generated content. And for
gotcha. So it's pretty
um,
thin of the net of the
yeah,
unique stuff.
yeah, and that was working for years, but then got popped. I mean, overnight. dropped September update. So, those are the three things that I've mainly been messing with. But definitely more on-page factors than off-page is what I've noticed.
Yeah, I feel like as far as backlinks go, really not much has changed in a very long time.
It's kind of hard to imagine what they would change, right, at this point.
Yeah,
If
maybe
anything,
just
yeah,
get better
fine-tuning
at
the
it.
on
I
page.
don't know. Just get like more picky about links on it, I guess. But
But
yeah,
if since we got on the subject, it's like this is what Google does, and like they have to shake things up. There are only two things. Like if we think about top level variables that we are altering, it's on page and off page factors to websites to game their algorithm. There's a bunch of variables within those two topics that can be shifted, and they shift them all the time. But as soon as that um, becomes easy to game, right, then Google loses. So do you think, when we've talked about this before, do you think they're going to lose that way? No, they will play different strategies with the algorithm to shake things up, to fine tune, get them better. But especially when we see lower quality stuff ranking in SERPs that didn't have that historically, to me, it seems like a natural shakeup. Because then it really does, like Chris was saying, it confuses everybody that's involved in trying to game the system. Because ultimately, once enough people do understand, here's what we do for off page, here's how to keep it clean and tight, here's what we do for on page, it's perfect. Um, recourse action has to be a shakeup.
all right. Yeah. I'm gonna try to get through this a little quickly because I think you gotta go pretty soon, don't you, Nick?
Yes.
But yeah, so rewrite your articles to add more stuff like you actually used the product or you did the thing, you ate at the restaurant. Like I did this, it was good. I liked it because this. I hated this. Instead of the XR92 has this. It is a fully fledged operational, just regurgitating stuff. Like don't do that. You need firsthand experience now, or they see it as less valuable. Does your site have a primary purpose or focus? I find it, I mean, so this, you could say just topical relevance, write a bunch about the same topic, right? But then at the same time, it feels like they're not doing too good of a job of doing this one because, parasite SEO is still alive and well. So,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm kind of whatever on this one, but you should focus on topical authority, add a bunch of, stuff about the same topic is definitely a good idea. After reading your content, will someone leave feeling they've learned enough about the topic to achieve their goal? I see this as them potentially increasing the importance of a lower bounce rate. Basically, they don't want someone leaving your article quickly and going back to the search page and clicking on another result and reading that one instead. Um, and I feel like Google has no choice but to eventually weight bounce rate much heavier. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. I see a lot of people saying bounce rate is bullshit. Bounce rate means nothing. I really see with all the AI content that's coming out and stuff now, I don't think Google has any choice but to weight bounce rate
Yeah.
much higher moving forward. It's like what they do on YouTube, right? It's engagement. YouTube is all engagement metrics. Nothing, hardly anything else matters on YouTube. And so I feel like they're going to eventually have to move the same way on web search. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, so basically, write good content, keep them on the page. Will
Yeah.
someone reading your content, sorry?
Oh no, and I was going to say there could be some weight to that within the last two algo updates, actually.
Well, yeah, this is this one, but I feel like people kind of blow it off,
Yeah, they
and
do.
and
Yeah, but I
but
think
I think
there could be some, yeah, truth to it right now, even just looking in analytics at different stuff.
yeah, I think that I don't know. I disagree. I guess. um,
Plus,
will
either
someone reading your
way, why wouldn't you consider bounce rate as a pretty serious topic, it's one thing because a lot of times we think as SEOs, all right, our job is just to get rankings. But conversions matter too, especially like when you're trying to utilize these dollars, get ROI, and then keep rolling the projects, right? So build it right the first time if you can.
And I think one of the things they point to is that like, well, some they're like, well, what about if it's just a short answer? Well, then the algo would have to differentiate between SERPs then, and it's not that hard. They already do that for other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not every SERP has to have the same rules. The algos can treat different SERPs differently. So if it's just like, how much does Kim Kardashian weigh? They're going to bounce off your page very quickly. But if they bounce off everyone else's pages very quickly, the algorithm knows, oh, this is like this type of answer. It's a very short answer that they're looking for, and they're not going and looking at these other articles. So the quick bounce off is fine,
Plus,
right?
think about how easy that would be. It's, you've got your answer, and then you've got a YouTube video of Kim Kardashian doing something salacious. Boom, extra minute on time. Very simple, little effort, low effort process, right?
So just do that. You could just add videos of Kim Kardashian on every one of your pages to keep them on the pages.
Ooh, I
This
think
is our
I'll click
advice
that.
for, but title it something like related to your niche. So the video is about Kim Kardashian doing something salacious, but the title is like how to repair your BMW 3
Actually,
Series or something.
I don't know if legally you can do that. So, we're gonna stay away. Don't use Kim Kardashian, but
Whatever.
the idea.
All right. Are you keeping in mind our guidance for core blah, blah, blah? Avoid creating content for search engines first. So yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with it seems like they're kind of looking at AI content or just mass generated content that is just, that it's hitting all the things, but it's just not good content, right? Again, they mentioned, are you producing content on lots of different topics instead of maybe just a more focused topic? Extensive automation, so AI. Are you mainly summarizing what others have to say without adding much value? This one's interesting because normally, when you're writing stuff, we look at all the other articles and we say, well, this is what I need to write about.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they're looking. I don't know how they're measuring this, but they're telling us right now that they want us a little bit more than just what other people have said. So I guess you have to bring a little something else to the table. Could be a good idea. Which in the real world, if you're basing if Google's algorithm was doing a good job, this would be something you would actually want. You wouldn't want every article to be the same, which is what has been going on for the past couple of years now, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
With people really just sticking to this kind of tactic. But that's not what people want. We want choices, and each choice should have something different that it's bringing to the table rather than just the same exact thing. But that's I don't know how much weight I put behind this one quite yet, but it's not really something that's too difficult to do. Are you writing topics only because they're trending? Okay, so it's again kind of like topical authority type thing. Does your content leave readers feeling like they need to search again? I've kind of already talked about that. Are you writing a particular word count because you've read that Google has a preferred word count? This is interesting. So it's like kind of a shot at tools like Surfer and stuff. Yeah, I guess so. Don't do the exact word count as other ones. I don't really know. I don't really put too much weight on this one myself, but
it's funny because reading these things, it sounds
it's just
like
it's
sounds
way
like
geared
a
at
mother
SEO.
saying, "This is what you don't do." You hear?
We know
This
what
is
you're
what you don't
doing.
do. But then what you have to do as an SEO, especially if you're gaming the system, is think like a robot. So how does this right here get written into an algorithm that's definitive in giving the, best end result to whoever's searching? If it's something that's really difficult to imagine a robot that thinks A or B, like they don't have sentient thought right now, it's not there, A or B, then I don't know, it's going to be something that's really hard to quantify.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the links below for more info on this topic, as well as other cool stuff like SEO case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and happy ranking.